This kitchen has been working very hard this summer as we've been putting up stuff from the garden and bringing things in. This has been my place of work, my place of preservation, my place of storage. And before I can move on to the next level of enjoying autumn's riches, I need to give it some love. First step, polishing the copper. Stacking the firewood. This is a beautiful time of year to be bringing things in from the garden before that first frost hits. Here it all is on display and one final big push before the frost comes to take it all away. And in this season of bounty and chilled air and fireplaces, this is exactly what I want to see in my kitchen. Celebrating the harvest that comes from the fields, comes from the gardens, comes from the animals. It's a time of true bounty and richness. I want to savor it all. I want to enjoy it all. And part of the way I do that is bring it into the kitchen so that when I go to cook a meal, it's all here, ready for me, ready to be enjoyed and savored. We had a beautiful year on our farm, from the potatoes to the herbs to the eggs to the honey. It's all tucked in now, all ready to be enjoyed. I don't know if you're like me, but I find that I'm so much more creative and so much more excited about the tasks in front of me when my space is beautiful and clean. So I try to keep it fresh, bring out the new linens, bring in the potted plants from outdoors, try to make it feel exciting and beautiful for the season ahead. Oh, and some days that's harder than others, because this is a farm and it is certainly dirty. Once the stage has been set in the kitchen, it was time to head out to the gardens to gather up the last of what we could on this beautiful October day. It's truly the culmination of all that's been promised through the summer season. All that work and effort, all of the growing. Here's the harvest, the very last tendrils of it, and often the most delicious. The garden this time of year reminds me that sometimes it's not necessarily good to see the big picture. Sometimes the big picture, in fact, is a complete wreckage, which you can probably see above. But when you take a closer look, when you have eyes for the detail and the tender little pockets of beauty that are still in there, they're truly that much sweeter. They take a little bit more effort, a little bit more digging to find. But there they are. the very last offerings of autumn. Offerings like coriander seed, hefty leaves of Swiss chard, offerings like fennel fronds, and dill blossoms. The very last of the fat artichokes. And the last of the wee cabbages. And the summer tomatoes. And of course, the winter squash. All that's left to do now is take stock and celebrate. A delicious and seasonal way to celebrate autumn is with potager soup. Some carrots and leeks, browned in butter. An onion or two from the winter larder, the last of the fresh celery, and the last of the tomatoes. pinch of this or that from the spice cabinet, a glug or two of good white wine, and salt. Topped off with some homemade beef stock, and a few potatoes. Then let it simmer until it's all fork tender and fragrant. After that, all that's left to do is puree it until it's silky smooth with a little bit of sour cream. And voila! The perfect way to celebrate seasonal autumn cooking. There is nothing boring about this food. It's not a compromise. It's a celebration of what's at hand for us this season. Cheers.